Hello, hello. The screen is black, but I think I'm live. There we go. Hello, lovely humans. How are you? Happy Sunday. I hope your new moon partial solar eclipse was beautiful for you. Hi, Juan. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Carrie. Okay, so I'm just going to pull from the energy that I feel. I'm going to go over what today's and like the next couple of days, what the current astrology is and how that may feel or play out in anyone's lives. Hello, Flower Beauty Peacock Rainbow. I love that name. Namaste. I'm just going to go over that first and talk about that, and then I'm going to pull cards based on both the energy I'm feeling. Hi, Adva. And also just whatever comes in channeled. So it's a combination. I like to take all three and see what we get. I'm always surprised in the comments afterwards. Somebody's like, that's exactly what's going on. Are you in my head? Are you in my life? So I just trust that the guides, it's not about me. I'm the conduit. Today is a little shorter because I'm going to like do a reading for money, a reading for love, a reading for communication, a reading for like changes, I'm just going to ask like, what's the good changes coming in? And I will give circumstances. So you'll know if it's you. I will give enough detail that you can know whether you can take that on. Hi, Pebbles. I love you. You know, I never want you to take on anything. If it stresses you out, don't take it on. Your guides are not going to give me, they're not going to pass me a note in gym to give you something that's going to stress you out, raise your cortisol levels, or, you know, trigger some kind of trauma. That's not what this is. So I'm going to give the astrology is going to be whatever the astrology is. I'm not going to go through every sign. That's every other week. I did that last week. I'll do it again next week. But I like having a variety every other Sunday. So sometimes I just do a general reading and I give a tarot tip. Now, because today is not a big, long, every single sign, then I will... I will take super chats if people want to do that at the end. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. I have a phone call I'm excited to get to whenever we are done. So, you know, if people want to do super chats to ask a personal question, you can do. I'm not pulling personal for people. If you are in membership, people who join membership at the nerd and gratitude levels once a month, I have a live just for those levels. There's 4 levels, and that's where you can ask. It just comes with your membership. You can ask me one astrological question, or a tarot question, or a channeled question, or I'll use all 3. And once in a blue moon, I do that for the Astros as well. And then I would say quarterly, I do one for the whole entire membership at all levels. And the first level is like $3 a month. So FYI. But yeah, today there should be time, and I will open it up to super chats later. Welcome, Carrie. Okay. So let's first go over... Yeah, if you go, Flower Beauty's saying that she loves my tarot and my pendulum readings. If you go to my website and go to book a reading, if you book an astrology reading, that's going to take you to the Awake space because I'm booking exclusively through her. There was a handful of grandfathered clients that I've had for like 4 or 5 years. Other than that, all astrology, but she throws discounts. It's worth it to join her Patreon for a million reasons. Just the information she gives and the proximity to Lori fucking Rivers. But she's just a genius. But book astrologically, it's just going to take you to her site anyway. But metaphysical, she doesn't do metaphysical on her site. So if you book the metaphysical, those are still there on my website. And you can do a tarot only. You can do, yep. And the metaphysicals come in like 15, 30, hour, 90. And if you don't see, most of my hours are over with Lori. So if you don't see an appointment that works for you, just email me. I will do my best to accommodate you on top of the other schedules. Okay. I may run, I can't believe my birthday is only 3 months away. Less than now. I may run a tarot metaphysical special on my birthday, but she runs sales all the time over on the Awake Space for the astrology. Oh, and at Awake Space now I have 30-minute appointments for follow-ups and packages for follow-ups that are discounted. Okay, so if we are looking at the astrology today, as we all know, yesterday very early if you were on the East Coast, and still pretty early if you're on the West Coast, and in the middle of the night if you were over in England and Sweden, where we have some lovely folks from this community. We had a partial solar eclipse, which was the new moon in Aries. That was a lovely new moon partial solar eclipse. Eclipse doesn't equate the sky is falling. They impact collective things and people of power more than they do people that are noted. People that have the sun, you know, gotta wear shades inside because the sun's always shining on them. It's going to affect them more. But, you know, we also had all of the beautiful Venus in retrograde and Saturn conjunction, which we still have for a while. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Everything's still talking to each other. There is no cheese that stands alone, like the farmer in the dell in the astrology right now. That the sun is coming out of its sextile with Pluto, but the moon has moved into 28 degrees of Aries. So it's in a semi-sextile with the earlier today and last night it was squaring with Mars. So if anything got spicy in arguments or spicy and spicy in love or in just in play, that could be why that might have shown up. We still have this beautiful Saturn conjunct Venus in retrograde. So what we want to do is reevaluate what we value. We want to look over. You can find lost money when Venus is in retrograde. I'm having something of value return to me. It's in the mail as we speak because Venus in retrograde happened on my moon. And when the Mercury went into retrograde, I connected with somebody who was trying to connect with my mom with an email that hasn't been used since she passed. But I ended up getting it by a fluke because Mercury retrograde can be wonderful. Now I'm having something really valuable being returned to me. So the R's in retrograde can be returned, reevaluate, restructure. Like it doesn't have to be like, please, like, is it a pain in the ass for our technology? Abso-fucking-lutely. All the time. I'm like, oh, we got retroed. Lori and I both got retroed, and the whole Wix site got retroed for a hot second with our booking. That's all fixed. But yeah, sure, things can happen. But also there's lots of good in it. And when we have, hi, Eli. Oh, I love you. I'm so happy you're here. So and welcome to the community over here. You, everybody will love you as they do over at the Awake Space. So you don't sleep on Venus in retrograde with the Saturn, because you have a chance to, like, you might have an opportunity offered to you. You might be going over what brings you joy. You might be, raking over finances. You might find out that you were owed money that you thought you got paid, or, you know, something coming up. There could be a million different reasons why Venus in retrograde could come up good, but you have to meet it with your free will. You know, all the energetic and astrological transits that we come across in our life, we meet with our free will, right? And I mean, sometimes when they're happening to those angular houses and the cardinal signs, they're happening with or without, you know, our cooperation. But sometimes too, you know, the energy is there, but we have to take it, right? So like, if I see a transit that somebody's going to meet somebody, but the house that it's in tells me they're going to meet them at work, and you're always, you know, working from home, or you're going to meet them at the store and you get everything Instacart, or you might meet them in an outside social situation physically, and homie, don't play that, right? That transit can come and go. We have to still take our free will. Like the job, you know, job or interviews don't knock on your door and say, hey, want a job, right? We have to go on Indeed and everywhere else and look for the job. And once in a blue moon, yeah, you'll get a headhunter. But most of the time we have to take a little bit of action, right? And especially that happens with semi-sextiles. It requires, it feels annoying, it feels subtle, and it requires us to take a little action. We have a ton of semi-sextiles in our current chart. We do have Mars in a beautiful trine with both Saturn, which really concretizes. I talk about Saturn and Pisces, like that fancy colored rock that you get with the big balloon bouquet when they get the helium balloons from Party City, which I'm pretty sure does not exist. Does Party City, is it goodbye, kaput? Did it go the way of Blockbuster? What was the other one besides Blockbuster? There was Blockbuster, and then there was one with like a city skyline. I don't know. Throw it in the comments. I can't remember right now. Maricela, how was your beach day, love? Hi, babe. So semi-sextiles require, it's like if you're taking a hike and you feel like a pebble in your shoe and you're trying to keep your heart rate up, so you don't want to stop, like it's an annoyance, but it's necessary to like finish the task, right? So we have the beautiful trine between Mars and Saturn, which is really getting stuff done, very much so. And that's an unrestricted flow of energy. That's an unrestricted flow of energy. So, you know, that is great right now to get things done. That is a wonderful transit. With the North Node being the ham and the sandwich of the Venus retrograde and the Saturn, we really have an energy there to like move forward, to review things. And you know, in our live stream yesterday that I had just for, I did a live stream for our members, and I was able to look at charts for members just to like show them how to best use it for theirs. That's part of the membership perks. It's not a whole reading. It's just like, hey, this transit looks good for this. And one of the things was, sometimes when you're going over wherever it's expressing, maybe something came along that felt too good to be true, or it was the like, yeah, wouldn't that be nice if I could do that, if I didn't have this pragmatic limitation or these constrictions, or like, you know, I don't have enough seed money for something, whatever it may be. With Neptune and Venus there, it's like reevaluating like things that felt like the dream job, the dream partner, the dream house, the dream situation, right? And going back over and kind of extracting the detail that you need from it. Mercury has now gone back into Pisces. It's in 29 degrees. That Mercury is going to act like Virgo Mercury. It's going to behave more. So with that conjunct the Venus retrograde, and that being conjunct the Saturn, and Neptune all in there. Neptune has officially moved into Aries. It will retrograde one more time, but we have Neptune in Aries now. So the last time that was 1861. So that's a big deal. We'll talk about that in a second. But with all of that conjunct energy, this is a lot of, oh, I don't have to try to take on the whole thing. Let me extract this detail. Let me put the work to it. Let me actualize the dream. Let me, and Mars is there going, yep, let's do it. Let's do it. And it's going to feel like a ping from the inside. It's really beautiful energy. We have a semi-sextile from Neptune to the moon right now. We have a sextile from Jupiter to the sun. You know, there's a lot of Aries sun. That's the second place it likes to be, right? Wants to be, the sun loves to be in Leo. And then second, it likes to be in Aries. And that energy, it is get it done. I don't know about anybody else, but I went to sleep early last night and I was up and I was cleaning the whole entire kitchen, like the, you know, if you've ever worked in a professional kitchen, like the breakdown of the kitchen with the big thing with the white rags and the whole nine, mopping the floor. And I made bagels and I made homemade pancakes and I got a whole bunch done. I started at 5 a.m. That energy, if all of a sudden you feel invigorated, that would be the energy right now. Yes, that's a perfect, right? This is good to hear. Reignited today, what was afraid was being lost. That's the whole point. You know, Venus is our value. We associate it with love and money, but really what we feel like we can attract, I always say, you know, people conflate and say, you know, Venus is about sex and just love. And I'll never forget, there was like this ponytail guy on TikTok, and he knew nothing about astrology but made thirst trap videos. It would get all these hits, whatever. That's, you know, good for him. But hey, Shauna. And so he put a thing out and says, you know, these are the best placements in bed. And it was all Venus signs. And Lori stitched the video and said, tell me you don't know anything about astrology without telling me, you know. And that was like when I would like always leave comments, but I wasn't in her DMs yet. And I was like, yes. It was the bonding thing. Venus is how you get them to the arena. Venus is what we attract with. And it starts with our value. If we don't, the value we feel for ourselves is 100% calibrated by, you know, that's what calibrates. That's the antenna that attracts the abundance, what we think we deserve, right? We push away. We can want something and it can get here, and we can push it away if we don't feel it. If we feel like for some reason we might lose it because we're not worth it, right? Raise your hand if you've ever been in a relationship with somebody and everything was going great and they started to get like, this is too good to be true, and then they sabotage. They self-sabotage. Right? That is somebody like wanting something. They get it, and then they repel it. They push it back away. Hey, Gemini love. Email me if you still have access to your email, babe. So we want to take and see what we think was lost, see what we think, you know, and be deserving of it. Lori and I talked about this. We did a whole 2-hour thing on her. It's on her Patreon again. If you're not on her Patreon yet, please go. But you can just decide to be worthy. You don't have to say, but I did this thing in my 20s or my 30s or my 40s or my 50s. You don't have to say, that you made bad decisions or you had a trauma response and somehow that, you know, that hurt other people because your trauma response ended up not just harming you. So we want to make sure that we don't quantify our worthiness of our manifestations, of what we deserve. We can go over things that we thought were too big or too much at the time and extract the details, right? Exactly. Yeah. If something feels lost to you, now is the best time ever with both Mercury and Venus in retrograde if you value it. First of all, see if you value it. What you felt was like, oh my God, that was lost, and I feel like I lost that person, or I lost that relationship, or I lost that opportunity. You might want to check in and see if you still even want that anymore. Do you really want that, or is that an old trauma response? Is that the old you that really wanted that? Do you ever, we're going to talk about relationships because everybody can relate. Do you ever have an ex come back and there was the longest time where you thought they'll come back, and that you felt like you couldn't even like anybody else? And then when they finally come back, you're like, yeah, no, couldn't pay me. Right? What we value changes. Reevaluate that, and then look to extract the details. Look how you see how you can make it happen. Because Saturn and Mars are helping you. Venus in retrograde is helping you. Mercury in retrograde is helping you. The sun sextiling Jupiter is helping you. There's so much help in the sky right now. We love you back, Gemini love. Right? But there were people that will make us question what our value is, right? While we're overvaluing them. And that's also something to look at this time. All right, with that being said, cards are in the hand. I picked these out, but I don't know now. Nope. I want... Where are these? I'm in a Sunday kind of mood, or whatever that song is. I want a Sunday kind of love. I'm hearing that song. Is that the song? I don't know. Did anybody think about the other one besides Blockbuster? What was the other big one where you would go rent movies? Hollywood. That was it. All right. I'm going to call back all my power to me from anyone using it with or without my permission. Reject and release any energy that's not mine to carry or not my highest good. It has to be connected with whoever's guides that really needs to hear the message, that will show up some way, somehow, either in the live or later in the replay. And thank you, replay viewers, because you guys are the meat. And I know some of you OGs, they're always in the lives, are also like watching more than once, and I appreciate you. The ones that put it on and go clean so it gets a view. After already being in the live. And sharing helps if you guys want to share. Okay. Let's first pull a card about... Let's do one about communication first. As soon as I said that, card... Okay. There's someone that you're wanting to hear from, thinking of hearing from, but you don't want to hear from them in the same way that you used to. Like, you'll skip hearing from them if it means it's the same dead-end conversation. You're manifesting. Yeah. Okay. This is somebody who might have, like, used to dance around conversation before. You have been like saying, like, if it's going to come in, it's going to come in and be a real conversation. And that's what I felt from just that Magician card. The energy feels really hopeful right now. So I wanted to grab these specific cards. This one especially reminds me of my mom for reasons I won't get into. But we have we have the Queen of Swords here. And the Queen of Swords is very direct. She's very honest. She's never going to be passive aggressive. And you may be somebody who's like that, but when you don't want to push things, you don't want to be the pushy person, you don't want to bring up things people don't want to talk about, you don't want to make anybody uncomfortable, or maybe you don't care if you make everybody or anybody uncomfortable, but you don't want to make this person feel uncomfortable. But there's a manifestation of a really honest conversation. So that is what I'm feeling. Let's get more for communication. What else is going on? What are we communicating about? This might be somebody you're avoiding saying something because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Oh, that's for at least one or two of you. Hi, Michael. Resonating? Good. Yeah, the Knight of Swords. Okay, so this is somebody that will come in and like blah, 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 and then disappear again. And you don't, when you do have them, we all have that person, right? When you do have them, you don't want to like bombard them with maybe heavy conversation or whatever. But this time you're so aware that you have their ear. And I think that it's going to be a really good, honest conversation. And the thing is like letting things fall out. There is, listen, I read Uranus oppositions all the time. I have never, every other reading, if not 2 out of 3, is for somebody having some kind of Uranus transit, either the opposition or the square. And so letting fall out what falls out. Taurus, Uranus and Taurus is also in a like hard sextile, a long-term sextile with Saturn, because they are both at 24 degrees. When Venus gets back to the 24 degrees, because that's the degree it's going to station and then go direct eventually. So it's when it gets to the 24 degrees, it's going to stay there for a couple of weeks. Venus in retrograde. It'll stay first like a week in retrograde and then like a week or 10 days in direct mode, but it'll be stationing. It'll be like, you know, when you're a kid and you go around the pool, the water, and everybody makes the water go the one way and then you all turn around to go the other way and the water feels like it's, you know, it's like a force. When a planet is stationing, it's slow, so slow compared to its normal orbit. It has this incredible energy. And so Saturn and Taurus is going to be in a harmonious sextile, 60-degree aspect with that Venus in retrograde. Something unexpected of value could come back to you. You could unexpectedly find that you don't value something that you used to in a good way. Uranus wants us to it doesn't surprise and disturb and shock us just to upset us. It's helping you to have things fall out that no longer serve your current path, your highest good, right? I love Uranus as a planet. I love it. And so when we resist it, it feels like shock and surprise and disturbance. But if you've ever cleaned a closet, you have to take everything out of it. If you've ever cleaned that drawer in the kitchen, you have to take everything out of it. You have to disturb it before you can reorganize it in a way that now fits your life, right? You ever clean a closet? You don't keep everything back. You don't put everything back. A lot of stuff you give away, you put it someplace else, you're reorganizing. And that's what Taurus is meant to do. That's what Uranus is meant to do. So with this energy right now, you may just value yourself more and have the conversation that allows something to move forward or fall out. And be okay with either. And that is brave. That is Aries energy. That is us still kind of marinating in that new moon, partial solar eclipse, right? It's funny, I think I got the song too when I was doing the membership live. But the Sarah Bareilles, that Say What You Wanna Say, that song, that is playing in my head right now. Let the words fall out. Yeah, that one, that is the energy right now. I'm not getting that song for anybody, but that is the energy of right now, our current astrology. Let's pull some cards, and this could be any kind of this could be a sibling, this could be any kind of a conversation, but it's somebody that like isn't fond of like having 6-hour conversations on the phone or phone at all. Okay, let's look at love. Love, exciting and new. Sorry guys, I have Uranus in the first house, so I'm a little quirky. For anybody new and listening, I'm quirky. Okay. Interesting. Hierophant upside down. 5 of Swords. And the 3 of Wands. Somebody's deconstructing from a belief system. They're having quite a bit of inner conflict. And I'm not going to lie. This is either you or it's them. However, it makes sense to you. It makes sense to you. But with the 3 of Wands here, that's about your ship coming in. That's about making a decision and making sacrifices. You know, it's obviously the Venus retrograde, the reevaluating what makes you happy, who makes you feel your own value. Not just what we want, but who makes you feel your value, who respects how you value yourself, that kind of thing. Some signs and some people, because of trauma responses, will go after something that seems like a challenge because they believe that procuring the thing that feels challenging innately speaks to their worth, right? That was hard to get and I got it. Look at me, right? I'm not to be slept on. I'm not to be abandoned. I'm not to be dismissed. I went and got the thing that nobody else could get. But that is not really what true self-worth is, right? Those are band-aids that as humans in our journey, while we're learning ourselves and we live in a wonderful world where we speak about these things, we're learning more about trauma responses and all these other things, right? We're learning to like love our parents and deconstruct how we were parented and be okay with both, right? Both can exist. It's a Venn diagram, not black and white. So all humans are going through this. If this is your person or this is you, this to me is deconstructing belief systems and indoctrination, whether that's about love, religion, what marriage should look like, what a relation should look like, what stability looks like, because this is the card for Taurus. We have 5 of Swords. Now, to me, 5 of Swords, and it's very interesting here because, like, there's somebody with their heart on their sleeve and the other person's hiding. This is about the inner conflict. Again, about, you know, I spoke about, have you ever been in a relationship with the person where everything was going so well and they were so crazy about you and everything, and whatever their self-esteem issues came up, their abandonment issues came up, whatever, they ran, right? They self-sabotaged because the sense of worth wasn't truly there and the surface things wasn't enough to keep that feeling going enough. So rather than when you wake up and realize this person ain't worth shit and I'm gonna go get somebody who's actually worth me, they're gonna sabotage it first so they don't have to go through that pain. Those are usually people with abandonment, dismissal issues, because it's too painful. It's painful. They can, you know, you can crack, you can have a nervous breakdown, if your worst childhood trauma, if your worst trigger is pressed. So when they feel that all of a sudden now they're in a place that they're so vulnerable, somebody has the power to hurt them, and they're so convinced that they ain't worth shit, that you're going to realize they ain't worth shit, that's when they run, right? So we have somebody who has done a little growing because they're deconstructing. They're conflicted. They're going to have to make some sacrifices. Now, whatever they pick, that's going to be their free will. But, you know, you are one of these choices. Two things will have to be sacrificed to pick the one, and they believe that's when the ship comes in, whatever that means. Sometimes the ship is money. Sometimes the ship is happiness, peacefulness, love, a good relationship, but they're still deconstructing. So you may be getting mixed messages. These two could be tied together, but you may be getting mixed messages. You know, I'm sorry if you are getting mixed messages, but they're definitely thinking, but they're in the middle of deconstructing. Stand your ground. Don't water yourself down. Don't pretend to be anything you're not, and don't pretend that you have to be more than exactly where you are, who you are, where you're at, right? Don't try to be unaffected and unbothered. If you're not unbothered by something that's being said or done, or if it's hitting your button for how you feel secure, right? So like what one person needs to feel secure could be the trigger, right, for the other person. And we just have to like find our non-negotiables and the communication around it. I would not push this. I would not push this person for an answer right now. If they're deconstructing, they're doing the inner work they need to do, and nothing you're going to say, nothing you're going to ask, the 20 questions, where are we at conversation isn't going to make the situation go anywhere, like sooner, faster. However, that being said, also, don't give away your power. Also, don't sit in waiting energy. Also, like, don't diminish yourself in any way. Right? Both can exist. All right. Let's look at, should we do career and then money? Is there another subject you guys want me to pull a couple cards on? Tell me in the comments. I will take super chats afterwards if anybody wants to ask a personal, like a question. And Gemini, you know, let me know if you have what your communication availability is right now. Assuming you have internet of some sort. So please send an email. I've been drowning in the back of the busy work, but not drowning. I've just been busy. And that new moon, woo! I didn't sleep the whole night before. So yesterday was kind of a wash. I did what I absolutely had to do, and I did not have the bandwidth to do anything else. But email me today. I've also got Pluto-Uranus trine right now, and air signs and caffeine. So today I can do things. Let me know, guys, though, if there's another subject besides money. If you want me to pull like a reading for family, if you want me to pull a what are they thinking reading, if you want me to pull a career. Okay. For the collective that's here, for whoever needs to hear the messages, connect with the guides. Oh, yeah, guys. I don't know that I necessarily got rest. I slept last night. But I wasn't really sleeping, and I wasn't really awake, if that makes any sense. Yeah, sure. I'll pull one for friends. Yeah. You guys let me know the subjects. Okay. For money, the first card we have two queens here. So we have the Queen of, I'm going to take all the cards up too, so we have all of our words. Hi, Duray, my love. You sure? I'll do one for friends and one for family next. Okay. So we have the Queen of Wands came out first, which I thought when it came out upside down, it was like the Sun card. It came out sideways. So I'm still taking it, but it was mostly sideways upright. So I'm taking it upright. I was doing money, but I can do career. I do career when I do the 12 signs. So this one is a money reading. So we have the Queen of Wands here. Your creativity, you know, and if you have 5th house placements, lots of Leo placements, lest we not forget that the Aries placements, including Neptune, now will be in trine, the I love you more conversation between those planets. So when we have that and we have the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles, your creativity is going to lead to money. Now, whether that is, maybe you're in a very pragmatic spreadsheet kind of career, right? Or calling or whatever. But however you're getting creative with your solutions, if there's a solution that needs to be like to find a job for the money, there is something that you're kind of holding on to, and I feel like that's what you have to get creative around. There's an attachment to something, and there's also a desire to do something else. The attachment is keeping you from the desire. Also with 2 queens here, I would love to know who's got mutable placements, who's got air placements, or who's got placements around 15 degrees, because I think Jupiter keeps coming up in readings where there's like 2 choices, 2 things. Like you may go do the thing that you love and have something subsidized. The attachment may be to the idea that you need a traditional 9 to 5. I'm going to tell you, Pluto and Aquarius, okay? Pluto and Aquarius, Jupiter and Gemini. There's more than one way to do things. And with Pluto and Aquarius, we're transforming on a collective level. It's Saturn run as well as Uranus. We're redoing how we do work. With the death of Capricorn Pluto, I want to make sure I write Sunsills. Oh, that's a cute name. Hi, Sunsills. So with the death of Capricorn and Pluto and Capricorn, we're going to see the structure of the traditional 9 to 5. Listen, it started back in 2020. Companies realized that if they weren't providing toilet paper, paper cups, benefits, lots and lots of overhead, rent for a building, that they could still do really well, that people were more productive than they expected people to be working from home. Things are changing. Most companies set aside way more to hire people out freelance because they can pay them well. The freelancers make great money, and it's still less expensive than a salaried employee because of benefits, because of all different reasons. So when we're looking at that, we're looking at more collaboration. We're looking at more cooperatives, work cooperatives, living cooperatives, you know. This is how Pluto and Aquarius are going to move, and how it's moving into our lives. So deconstruct and let go of the attachment of a job that pays your bills has to be something that is the old traditional structure. And leave room that you can start something that makes you feel amazing, satiate your soul, has to do with your calling, right? All this spiritual energy in Pisces, and there it will stay because, you know, things are going to retrograde and then they're going to go direct and they're going to be in Pisces for a while, both Mercury and Venus as well. And that is where we have our eclipses. That is where we have the nodes right now. And we will for a year and a half. Helping people find their calling and also being able to eat and pay your bills and thrive and not just survive is totally on the menu. We have to deconstruct in here to make room for it. You're going to have to get creative around your solutions, but 2 queens, that means like this is kind of, and I told you the energy today is very optimistic. It's very like, we can get this done. This is doable. Let's do it, right? Mars and Saturn having an I love you more conversation in water, right? Like all of, like, this is, the time is now. Saturn getting together with Venus in retrograde. Being able to put things that felt like a dream, because it was the dream job, the dream situation, the dream relationship, and letting Saturn and Mars like flank you on either side and saying, no, we can do this. Like, here's the structure, right, that we need, Saturn, and here's Mars. Let's do it. And Cancer, you know, I saw a video yesterday. I don't know where it was. Might have been Instagram, where they're like, how each sign deals if a serial killer is following them. And Cancer was like crying and let me call my mom. No, Cancer is going to kill them. Cancer is going to get to the serial killer before the serial killer can get to them. Cancer is fucking cardinal. Stop. Would everybody stop just saying that Cancer is a bunch of crybabies? Like, that's such a crock of shit. They're cardinal and they will box. Lori and I are both Cancers. Do either of us seem like we are wilting lilies? Like we are hothouse flowers? No ma'ams. And no sirs. That Cancer Mars will get it done, and it will do it from an emotional place that's so committed to doing it. Let the Mars and the Pisces, the Saturn and Pisces, woo. Yes, DeRay. Hi, Hannah. Right? So there's two ways, and you might be looking at two things. One might be small, right? Start it. But you can't feel like, well, I can't start that till I get this many thousands of dollars in seed money. Restructure. You know, there are so many jobs that like, Scrum Masters, technology jobs. There are so many jobs right now. Fiverr and Upwork are on and popping, and people, freelancers do well because they're happy. They're still, the companies are still, and I'm not saying individuals hiring freelancers. Huge corporations are hiring freelancers. What is your specialty? What is your specialty? Weaponize it. And leave yourself enough time. We live in a world you don't, right? But it starts in here. You have to deconstruct. This is my Four of Pentacles. This is my, all I need is this mattress and this book of matches and this, chair. It's the scene from The Jerk, and that's all I need. And it's trying to move forward, and, universe doesn't give us when our hands are like this. Universe gives us when our hands are like this. The Four of Pentacles is letting go of unhealthy attachments, right? That's also something else Pluto's going to help us do. All right. So that is your money. We'll call that money/career. I'm going to put all the cards back so universe has all its words. And we had a request for a friend's reading and a family reading. Yeah, right, Maricela? I was on the phone. This is a true story. I was on the phone with a friend at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I think we were chatting, actually. The phone call happened later. And all of a sudden, I'm like in my bedroom with the window open because it was really nice. And I heard crunch, crunch, because we still have leaves. There's so many trees on my property. They're actually not on my property. They're on all the neighboring properties, so I can't even do anything about it. But all the leaves fall, right? And I hear crunch, crunch pretty much under my window, and I'm on a first floor. Now, where I live, we definitely have fox. We definitely have raccoon. And then all of a sudden I'm looking up like, is there a bear? I don't think it's a person. The street behind me, there's a cop car. The cop clearly lives there. Like, if you're in this neighborhood for 5 seconds on any, not my street, but like 4 or 5 different streets. Like, it's just not, it's not a good neighborhood to fuck around and find out for like breaking and entering. But I'm like, okay, something's in the backyard, something or someone. We're going to calmly walk, make sure all the doors were locked, and they weren't, because that's how safe, and sometimes we forget. Usually they are, but they weren't. And then I just grabbed a really big knife, and then I assessed my surroundings, and I looked out the windows that I couldn't see shit. My light bulbs were out, but like, Cancer isn't panicking. Cancer isn't crying. Cancer isn't calling mommy or calling, you know? So I'm saying to my friend, okay, I'm calm, but I'm sitting here with a knife. You know, and they were trying to call me, and I'm like, nope, can't talk on the phone right now. I need to be able to hear the noises. Could have been a deer, maybe, but they were like long strides, like a footstep. So it had to be something with longer legs than like a cat. Cancer's who you want, because they will, all I know is I'm going to protect my home. I'm a Cancer, the fucking crab shell, right? The crab shell is the home. It protects all the vulnerable meat, all the underbelly. I'm going to protect my home, and my kids are here. There's a strict rule. People are like, you're a single lady, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you never worry about me. Don't you worry about the other person that has the 0 cents that decided, yeah. The crab has claws, people. We don't run around crying all the time. So that Cancer Mars will come in and have your back. It's like, you want this dream? Let's see how we can get it. Let's reevaluate the dream, the Neptune, Venus, right? Let's put structure to it, and I'm going to go Vaseline and sneakers. We're going to go into action. That is what the planets are doing for you right now. And in the meantime, what has to fall out has to fall out. Whether that's the thinking in your brain or the people in your life. Maybe you need to move, whatever it is. For somebody, for everybody, it's different. Depends on your... And also, again, I'm just going to reiterate, because we have different and new people. We have on the Awake Space, doesn't matter. You can go to my page or Lori's page. It's still going to take you over to Lori's booking system for the astrology. Metaphysicals on my website still, but all the astrology, one way or another, whether you go through me or go through Lori, goes to the Awake Space. But we have a la carte 30-minute, a la carte an hour, and 30-minute packages. So if you just want a 30-minute to like check your transits, we can do that. I'm a Cancer Sun and a Cancer Mars. And all of my friends, hi Zoe baby, all of my friends, like whether it was their husband or their mother, they're like, oh, you're going out with Susie? Okay, I'm not going to worry. It's like, oh, husbands love when like their wives are going to be out with me. They're getting home safe. No one's touching them. No one's talking them crazy. Should I share that? Do you want to know what my friends, and I'm talking like my friends when we went to like the clubs, and we went to the after clubs at 4 a.m, or we would go to the clubs and said like, you know, get home when the sun comes up, laugh in the face of danger group of friends. They called me the regulator. They called me the regulator. If you're doing Cancer videos and you're talking about people clutching your pearls and crying, I know that you have not gone that far. You got enough astrology under your knowledge to open up your shingle on some kind of social media. Yeah, red flag. If somebody's talking about Cancer like they're clutching pearls and crybabies and always shy, red flag. Yeah. Outside of the matrix. That's a great way to put it. Okay, this is very interesting. Friends. Talk about your friends. I'll let you down. Too much coffee for Susie today. Sorry. I'm sure it's like super annoying. Okay, so the first thing that came out is this beautiful, tell me this deck isn't so gorgeous. It's a little ladybug. She's walking a path by herself, and we see 2 butterflies, 2 whatever kind of birds those are, because I'm not good at that shit, 2 swans, 2 dragonflies. This is the 8 of Cups, right? All of these things are beautiful, but she's less concerned about being one of a couple and walking away from what no longer serves her, right? Because the 8 of Cups put you on the path to the 9 of Cups, which is like all the love, all the self-love, all the confidence, all the self-assurance, so that when somebody comes along and gives you their Ace of Cups, then you have 10 of Cups. And if something happens and their Ace of Cups and them, you know, not hit the hay, because that's going to bed. That's a nice part. No, if they're them and their Ace of Cups has to go take a left turn in Albuquerque, and, you know, or you make them take a left turn in Albuquerque and it doesn't work out, they just took 1 cup. You still have the 9. You're responsible for the first 9 in a 10 of Cups. Like, everybody's like, ooh, 10 of Cups. Yeah, you're responsible for the first 9, though. Eight of Cups. Friends, we are walking away, possibly from a friendship or from a mindset. It could be that when you're with these friends, everybody's kind of stuck in their ways, or maybe they're gossiping about people. You feel like maybe you've outgrown them a little, but like you're still having the conversations they want to have, which you don't want to have anymore, or doing the things that they want to do. There's something that you're walking away from around friendships. Then the Fool came out. And the Fool, this Fool card in particular, it looks like a little flower, but it's the tail of Mr. Alligator with his mouth open, ready for you to leap without looking. So sometimes the Fool card is like jump. This is saying don't jump from the pan into a fire. So then we have the Emperor. I'm going to say, for at least some of you, you're in a situation where one person is maybe talking smack about another person. And you're not sure which one to listen to. And it could be that both of them should be behind you. It could be that both friends are, you know, behind you on this 8 of Cups. Because we have the Fool. It looks like somebody's trying to, like, something is convincing you that something is wrong with one friendship. Now, that could be that you're dealing with somewhat of a narcissist who also does a lot of victim. So every time you're like, yeah, I just don't want to talk to this person, I don't want to exchange with them anymore, they come in with like, oh my God, this person is doing this, and, you know, you're a good person. And so you're like, well, let me listen to them, let me support them through this. And then when they're out of crisis. But if you're dealing with a narcissist, and not all Emperor cards say narcissist, I actually have 2 Emperor cards that I quite like. And I'm making a deck, and the Emperor card is so hot. In this one, if you can see, we have, they've got people like puppets. So this one, very Louis the 14th, is very much ego, is very much manipulative. So I don't know if this is one friend pitted against another, but somebody in this friendship maybe has a little narcissistic tendencies. And every time you're like, you know, every time I get out, they pull me back in. They don't pull you back in because they bully you. They pull you back in because they play on the nicest parts of you, is what I am getting. Right? And because you're all here, y'all probably have your own gifts. You can smell the wounds without them telling you what the wounds are. You're probably one of those people like, oh, the more they crow, the more confident they seem, the more they're convincing everybody that everything is great. Probably the more wounded they are, the more vulnerable they are, and the more they feel like they have to put up a smoke scene. So you're having sympathy for this person Because you're lovely. It's just kind of a thing. The lovely humans find their way to this community. Not because of me, because of all of you, because I'm very direct, right? I used to do that. But yeah, this person lives for some drama because it allows them to be in victim mode. And then the focus is taken off of however they're being unkind. And it brings longevity to friendships that otherwise, once people kind of see who you really are or who they really are, would go. I don't think this is anybody in my community, but this is what I'm getting on for friends. All right, let's pull for family. And then if anybody is interested in a super chat, I will take them. If not, I'm going to make myself a little lunch, and I have a phone call that I'm really happy to have. What about your friends? Will they let you down? They be around. Maybe that's why that song. Yeah. If somebody's constantly disappointing you, sometimes that's about our expectations, but sometimes that's like, yeah, no. Maya Angelou said, you know, believe somebody the first time they show you. That's who they are. And I'm going to give you a little clue about narcissists too. Narcissists, that is their survival mode. They learned how to mask at a very early age. And so they will show up, they will do some actions because they don't want you to conflate them with the people that are all talk, the people that are like, you know, they don't be about it, they talk about it. They don't want you to, so they're going to really like say they're going to do something and they're going to show up the first 2 times. Look what a good friend I am. They are going to at least 2 to 3 times make some big gesture so that you can't say they're not somebody who shows up. That's how the trust is earned. And then they will pull back on that behavior, and then they'll start like making you feel a certain way, like, oh, is that what you're wearing or whatever. But beware, somebody who shows up and like start talking about like, oh, aren't your friends there for you? I will show up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then they will show up at 2 o'clock in the morning. There are people who show up at 2 o'clock in the morning just because they're good people. But if it's a combination, don't rule out somebody as self-serving just because they did a few nice things in the beginning, because that is the mode of operation. Whether that's romantic, a friendship, or a family member. Because they really want to go around when the fight finally happens, when you finally stop letting them cross your boundaries, when you create your boundary and execute it, because that's the hard part about boundaries, right? When you start executing your boundaries, and when you just kind of want to like stop exchanging, it'll be as innocent as that. You might not like set a fight because you're like, I want no part of that. They're so dramatic. They're going to bring the drama anyway, and they want to be able to say, I did all these things for them. And look, you know, how they're treating me. They ghosted me. Can you believe that? After I did all those things. It is part of, it is pre-planned, always, with a narcissist. So if they're a new friend, careful of what you're accepting as far as those big grand gestures. Like, oh, I'll go pick you up. Like, you know them 2 weeks and they're offering to go drive an hour and pick you up in an airport at 3 in the morning. I'm just saying. Family. Okay, it's not your job, not your circus, not your monkeys. That's the first thing I'm getting. Woo. All right, call back all our power. I'm clearing everything else except for pulling a reading for family stuff. And if you want to ask a personal question, I'm going to ask that you do the super chat and put the question in now. The super chat can be whatever. It just has to be a super chat. Like, It's fine. I'm just going to pull one. This portion is for me, it seems. I'm just going to pull 1 or 2 cards if somebody wants something. I'm not going to look astrologically. So when I look astrologically, there's like a minimum for a super chat, but I'm not doing that today. So like if anybody wants a super chat, just if you could do it now and put the card in. I said there are some people who will do it just to be nice, but like it's still a red flag. It's still a red flag. You can be mindful of red flags. That's okay. That doesn't make you an overly suspicious or a pessimistic person. You can have the red flags and then just watch the rest of their behavior. I'm saying if they do that once, the goal is to then have you thinking like, oh my God, I would trust them with anything. Do you know what they did after 1 week of friendship? That's what they're convincing you to convince everybody else that they're great. Now, if that person continually shows up and doesn't do any crazy shit, doesn't do any other narcissistic stuff, then that's just a nice person. But have the red flag. Start taking mental notes and don't just be sold on that person because they do that one big gesture. All right. One more card for family. The cards are flying. Okay. It is somebody in your family might have, it could be a drinking thing or something or a spending thing. There's a repeated behavior that you keep trying to help them with. It could be spending in your hand, and you're helping them before they're going like, this is going to get turned off, that's going to get turned off. It could be that kind of thing. It could be a drinking thing. They could run into unhealthy relationships, and then you're constantly having to like give them a place to stay when they break up or blah, blah, blah. This person, I think, is probably old enough to maybe know better. And the point is that it is not your monkeys. It is not your circus. Right? So with the temperance upside down, I read that the temperance is, you know, the temperance is about literally tempering something. You have to be so careful and so fragile, right? If you've ever tempered eggs into make like a pot de creme or a custard, right? That's such, hi Nikki, that's such a very delicate, the temperance card, which is the card for Sag, that's not balance. It's not balance. It's not Om. No, to temper something means that it's a fragile situation, right? And if I'm getting this card for you, it means it is not your job to try to, this could be like embarrassing behavior. Maybe they say things that are embarrassing. Maybe they, you know, sorry, I got a banner in there. Maybe there's just some kind of behavior that you feel like you're kind of going up and cleaning up, or just cushioning, making sure they don't crash, making sure, like, you know, there's a difference between offering to help them, like, here's a budget app or whatever, and you doing something for them, and then they feel like they don't have to do it themselves. And we have the Magician here. This person is, I don't know that they mean to be manipulative the way a narcissist does, but out of trauma response, out of lived behavior, out of how they get out of the trouble that they get themselves into because they're not repairing their own cycle, and you keep trying to be the cushion for it, that when the Magician is upside down for me, can read like manipulation. It doesn't have to be nefarious manipulation, but it's manipulation. All the same. And they could be doing it like they breathe and not even realize it because it's their get out of jail card free when they're in trouble for their repeated behaviors. or people feel disappointed. I'm sure they're not doing it on purpose. I'm sure they hate to feel like everybody's disappointed in them. But at some point, they're also going to grow a trauma response, because if they weren't letting it hit them wholeheartedly, they would be changing. They wouldn't be in that repeated, and it wouldn't be like, just remember, it's not, as much as you might love them, it's not your circus, it's not your monkeys with the family. Then we have this Page of Pentacles and the Advocate button, the Seven of Wands. These came out together and separate, like this. Oop. Right? These came out together and separate. They can be connected, right? This person is going to have to start their new stability and advocate for themselves. You also could be somebody that keeps falling into cycles and repeated behaviors, and possibly that's because you're helping somebody else and not putting your oxygen mask on first. And advocating for yourself and starting new without this person's, the toxic person in your family's help, or like you may need a little separation. You may need to advocate for yourself. You may need to take yourself physically away. This might be for somebody who's living very close in proximity to their family. Okay? But that is the general family reading that I'm getting. Do you guys hear that? Hold on one second. It's like having toddlers. Are you guys kidding me? Oh. What are you doing? Stop that. Dear Lord. If there are no adults around and Nikki doesn't like what Annie's doing because she misbehaves a lot and does things and goes places she's not supposed to do, he bites her on the scruff like he's her mom. First of all, he's a month younger than her. They're not even related. And so it's like when you have kids and you're like, you're not their parent. I'm right here. I will deal with it. So then, and then, you know, I know when it's like one little nip, and then that was her meowing, which means he was not letting go. Pain in my ass. Oh, thank you, Hannah. Okay. I'm going to pull a different deck for the personal questions. I think Adva was first. Thank you, everybody. If the person that I'm calling at 3:30 is on here and listening, which they may be, I'm not calling you at 3:30. It's going to be closer to 4. I hope that's okay. I'm using my like straight to the point deck. Nope, that's not this one. I meant to grab the other one. I have a couple. Okay, want to ask about staying or leaving the pediatric job. I'm going to pull a card and do the pendulum for you, Adva. Okay, let me re-ask the question, right? Should she leave the pediatric job? And then just get Temperance. It feels like it's, whatever it is, it feels like it's sucking your energy. 9 of Pentacles. Yeah. If you want to leave it, it looks like there's other ways for the money to come in. Manifest that. We're still in the energy of that new moon. Should Adva leave? It's probably more a question of timing. But I think you have a session with me coming up, my love. We can look at the astrology. We could look at the timing. Should Adva eventually leave her pediatric job position? Oh, it's a very small yes. Should she wait before she leaves? Okay. So I'm getting a yes. So timing is another thing, which we would have to look at astrology for. But I'm getting a yes. Like, whatever it is, like, the job is, yeah, the job is probably, pulling on your energy and making and giving you less time and energy to do other things. And I have the 9 of Pentacles, which is a great card for you landing on your feet. But I am getting, like, maybe not just now. Okay. Hannah, you want a small love reading? I'm just going to look and see. Yes, it's like an yeah. Next Sunday. Okay, we'll look at the timing of that. Remind me. Oh, no, you're never late. You're busy watching Suze. I love you. Yeah, you're never late, Nikki. You show up exactly when you're supposed to. So there's probably something that's going to be said that's going to be like, I know that was that person's reading, but that's what I needed to hear, right? Okay, so the next one is Hannah, a small love reading. Okay, for that, I'm going to take different cards. Hannah, do you want to give me, are we looking to, it's something to repair, or do you want me to draw cold? You don't have a more specific question. The more specific, the better the quality of your question. If you're already super chatted, you do not have to super chat me again to clarify the question. But the more detailed I'm asking the question, the more details we're going to get out of the reading. It's the same thing with astrology, really. Somebody could be 45 and have a question about grandkids, and I won't, right? I won't know to look for that. If I see a 45-year-old in my reading, I'm looking at their Uranus opposition, and I might not pick up something about a grandchild if they have a specific question, right? So we want to make sure. You're so welcome, Adva. I'm just waiting to hear from Hannah. If Hannah has any, if she just wants me to read cold. You know what? I'm going to do Shauna's spirit guide reading. I'm going to take some oracles for that. Okay. Is that what I wanted? Nope. Where are my freaking moon cards? Sorry. Okay. Okay, just a cold reading. Okay, so then I'm gonna go back to doing Hannah's first. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna pull from here for Hannah. I'm gonna pull 2. Ooh, 3 came out. And I'm gonna pull out 2 here. Please go back. Okay. And we're gonna do a Kipper card. And a love oracle, and then I'm just going to throw them all together and read them. For Hannah's reading, could we just get one? Okay. Is there a possible situation where like money is keeping you guys apart, or like if there was more money or somebody has to move or something like that? Who's Momoa? Oh, you mean like Jason Momoa? He's just not my thing. Come on, Mama. No, not this one. This is not the deck to use. Okay, we'll pick another one. One day, I'm going to get the Chuck Spizzano Love Oracle. It's the only, I love that Love Oracle, but they're out of print. Okay. So the first thing that came out is there's a Queen of Wands here. There's an anxiety card and a defending card. Then we have somebody deconstructing their attachments, and also this came out in reverse. I have to tell you, this feels... Yes, I think we're going to get stuck because of money. No, because I have the unexpected money card when I pulled, and I have physical touch. Were you guys like separated, and was there a third, like a person, like a third? Queen of Wands sometimes in a love reading is my card for like the interloper. Like this person could be in a divorce, and it's like the money, like it's, they're making it take as long as... Oh, Jim, I will email you. I definitely won't have time for a call today, honey, but I will email you. I just want to make sure you have resources for everything. I'm going to look for resources in your area and see what we can do. I will email you, or I could maybe I could see if I can text from my business line. I'm waiting for Hannah. Sharing finances, moving in or share. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting like somebody is like, there's somebody or something that's purposely going out of their way to make it harder. I don't think that there's emotions between your person, whoever I'm reading about, and their last person. But I think that they're either playing on their goodwill, on their sympathies. And they're also like making money make it harder for you guys. There is a meeting coming up though. We have physical touch. And here's the thing. They are letting go of attachments. And also, like, I love both of these cards in reverse. And the Three of Wands means they're trying to redo a decision they made a while ago. But I do get the unexpected income. Like, money is going to come in and help. I feel like somebody's trying to make this hard, and this person feels like battered and bruised, and there's maybe anxiety around money, and it feels like the relationship itself is taking a beating because somebody's just trying to, like, circumstances and things keep making it difficult. But the money does come in, and there is like a little, you get to see each other and you get to be really sweet. I feels like if you even like touch this person's hand, like the magic is there. Oof, I just gotta chill. Money's coming, honey. And I like, it's acknowledging your, like, you guys are like, the obstacles are there. And it feels like also that you're both being as protective as you can be about the connection. And maybe this is universe coming in and being like, trying to be helpful when other things feel like they're being obstacles. But I do have unexpected money coming in. And this beautiful physical touch card. So it's like acknowledging what's been going on so far and then giving you like the good news, which I love for you. I didn't want to give you a bad love reading. I don't ever want to give anybody like a bad. Sometimes I have to be like, not ship a sailed. I hate that when I have to do that, but I'm always going to be honest. Okay. I don't think they have an emotional attachment to anyone else but you. I just think that there's like an interloper. Okay. Let's go back up. Spirit guide message. Yes, Shauna. All right. Sovereign. We're going to use these. I love these. Heidi, actually. Both you and she have sent so many cards. I have a couple from Juan, too. But these are beautiful. Okay. So we have the Spirit of the Bear and the Mandala of the Heart. I wanted to pull you one of these. These are like the Wisdom Women cards. Didn't I did a whole video going through every single one of my cards and getting all of the booklets and everything. By the way, please forgive the mess. I'm redoing all the different rooms. I'm going through closet to closet. Telepathy, transmission, perception, communication. It's funny that you got Spirit of the Bear, no? Releasing constraints brings in a river of blessings. We're going to take a shadow work. Where the fuck nuggets is the book for that one? It should be right here, but it's not. I'll email you what the meanings of those two are. That never happens. I live on a very small street and a dead end, and does anybody say dead end? It's a cul-de-sac. That's the fancy word for it. Whatever. It's a court. It's not a dead end, I guess. It's a court. It's round. But somebody's got like their music. It must be a delivery. There's never cars with loud music. Unless it's the ice cream man. Okay, this is a shadow card. I love these cards. They feel like velvet too. I can't even. The Seeker. There's just a lot of explorations, like the releasing of the constraints is going to bring in the river of blessings and the telepathy. Like your transmission, perception, communication, my whole body just went into a chill. I think that the more, because we have the seeker card here, the more you release anything that you kind of know, maybe you have attachments or need to be deconstructed, or people or whatever, I will email you the meaning of these because I can't find the freaking book right now. But I think as strong as your gifts are, because she's a long time client and we know Shauna well, but like I have personal knowledge of how very, very strong her gifts are. I think that when part of that is so that people don't take advantage of you. So this is about boundaries, I think. I bet you any money that the definition for mandala of the heart, all I keep hearing is like allowing boundaries and not making that feel like you're being selfish. Which makes sense with your gorgeous Libra moon. It's a bear, I know, how hilarious. You're welcome, Hannah. Okay, let me go back up. I know that's so fucking funny that you got a bear. Okay. Is Maricela next? Maricela wants a love reading. Okay. My desk is going to look crazy when I do this because I have to pull whatever cards I feel like I should be pulling for people. What's up here? Oh. Unicorn cards. I forgot I even had those. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to pull from here for the love reading. I probably have 30 decks just on my desk right now. It's ridiculous. Okay. Nope, let's turn it that way. Again, Queen of Wands and the World. Something is changing. Something big is going to change in your life. I don't know if it's going to be a job. I don't know if this is like a person coming in, but there's like a huge shift. Queen of Wands. So like the huge shift is going to be brought on by your sense of confidence. My very smart and also gifted Maricela. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse. Maricela, there's a weird thing going on here where it feels like, I almost want to pull you an oracle card. It feels like you would have more opportunities for somebody to come in that's like really great for you, but you're taken care of or like tied to something else that doesn't allow. Does this make sense to you? I don't know if it's like moving jobs, but you want the stability to take care of somebody else. I don't know what this is. I can think because like, you know, we see each other often and like, so I know what's going on in your life, but I did not expect to get this spread for you. I love the World card. I love the Queen of Wands, but you're supposed to be like fully, you were there in the membership reading when I was like, it's time to like ignite what makes set you on fire. That's what it's time for, but you're advocating or taking care of somebody else that's possibly holding you back a little bit. It's not a kid. Just so everybody's clear, I'm not telling her like, you know, your kid is cramping your social style. It's not a child. But there's, I want to say it's another adult or just a situation like you feel like you can't leave because they need you, or a situation where you're giving it a lot of time because you feel like they need you, but you're supposed to also be living your own life. I'm going to take one of these. I'm connected, divine energy flows through me. Yeah. Sometimes I don't like these kind of cards because they're just like, those are nice cards. And also sometimes they feel a little like fortune cookie-ish. And I like things that are more. I'm going to pull a shadow card for you to figure out what this is. Should I pull you a unicorn card? Do you remember my unicorn cards? They're like, have a fucking cookie, you're cranky. You're funny. Yeah. So you got the dare to dream. So the thing is like feeling like, sure, in a perfect world, I'd love to be doing this, or I'd love to be doing that, or I'd love to be socializing more. I was so happy. Went to the beach yesterday. But there's something that you've got something that's holding you back. Hey, little John. 369, damn good time. What's up? So there's something that's holding you back, and it's very interesting because like these are shadow cards. So when you get the dare to dream, do you see the claw around like the desire? Yeah, I'm just making it clear to the general public here that I'm not being like, that kid's cramping your style, holding you back. Yeah. We can take a little message from like either the person you're interested in or a future person. Got the blunt truth cards. I have not just done a whole bunch of like all this in a very long time. Says, I see signs about you everywhere. So there's somebody that's thinking of you that's not acting on it. I think we know who that is. Or it's somebody that hasn't approached you yet. So either it could be the one person, or it could be somebody that is into you. Well, because see, his thing says 369, and he's been with me a long time. He just hasn't like, he doesn't get to, he's busy. He doesn't get to come in the lives all that often. So because it said 369, I started calling him Little John. Yeah. It's a term of affection. It's a very sweet person. But yeah, like, I didn't forget you. My memory is like an elephant, though. All right. And just for fun, because Maricel is a good sport, and I haven't been able to use these. These are hilarious. They're really just for fun. I'm going to pull you a unicorn. I used to be able to get low before long COVID. Let me see you get low. You scared, you scared. I have a t-shirt from a club for winning a dance contest. It was in New York. I can't get low. I don't know. Maybe with enough rehab, I can get low again. I'm not that worried about it. I really squeezed the most out of that. I got all the juice out of that one. I love these cards. It says they broke your heart. fuck them. Okay. One more, Maricela. And then, DeRay, we do a quick love reading for you, and I think we're done then. Okay, 2 more came out. You are giving too many fucks, give 0. Time to let go and move the fuck. So there is something or someone that is holding you back. I think the 0 fucks. Get the Erica Jane song. How many fucks do I give? And just start playing it. And Michael too, yes. Okay, DeRay and then Michael. All right, so DeRay, is it coming? All right, DeRay, is this somebody that's already there, or is like, because I'm going to be honest, if you're just asking like if love is ever coming back into your life, I can already tell you the answer is yes. And then I would want you to give me a more specific question to ask. But you're welcome, Maricela. But if you're asking, like, if you want me to ask about a certain person, then I'll put that intention there when I'm pulling the cards. You tell me, DeRay. Put these back. Just love in this club. In this club. Oh, I forgot about those. I love those cards. Where are all my cards? They're all over the place. I call foul. It's okay, but it's a certain, okay, so I just want to make sure it's the person. So I will pull a message from your person, and then I'll pull like a whole reading. I can pull a combination. I'm not gonna say anything. Some of you are dangerous, and you like, this feels like, you know, because this community's been around a while, and everybody that's all are welcome, as the little lady says in Poltergeist. But I almost just revealed another part of my, like, you know, I don't need to say that. It's like a party in here. But I'm going to keep that one to myself. Ooh. Okay. The message I got for you, DeRay, is I know that you are the one I want to spend my life with. So what's the problem? There's connection. What's the problem? I'm going to pull regular cards for that. What is the problem? I'm going to go old school and do some Rider-Waite. What is the problem? The feelings are there. The connection's there. What's the problem? Okay. Are they religious, or is there like strong religion in their family, or are they like going through some shit? Or there's some kind of like, they're trying to, there could possibly be like a matriarch or just somebody that like their opinion is that like they need to maybe demomify or like there's somebody that has an influence on them that they're trying to deconstruct. I don't know if it's like a religious influence or just a person. But there's like way too much importance on approval or something. What else do we have going on? All right. Yeah, there's It doesn't have to be like another female, but like somebody is in their ear and not nice and very strong. Are they going to get their shit together to like honor the connection? Okay, but is that going to be followed through with actions? Oh, God. So stupid. They're waiting on money. I got an Ace of Cups. Like, the feelings are there. Like, that's the problem. Yeah, there is something that's still... They're trying, though. They are trying to get... Tell you... Right now, if people are trying to deconstruct from people, from lives they set up, for valuing the wrong things at one point, or valuing things they don't value, let's not quantify it and call it wrong, or they're just valuing different things and they're trying to deconstruct or, you know, like put that life together without having it like blow up all the way. There's a lot of that energy right now because that's what the planets are doing. Yeah, there's something being held back in truth. Also, there's like, they want to come to you with like money and all the, like they're putting a bunch of bullshit conditions when it's really the inner work they have to do, and they're listening to gossip. I just want a yes or a no. Are they going to get their shit together? And because the connection is here. That's the hardest part, is when we have a connection with somebody, but something is lacking for them to execute. Okay. Are they, for Duray's sake, in the next year, is this person going to, by beginning of April 2026, is this person going to like have real follow through, get their shit together and be able to offer? Okay, they're going to try to get their shit together. I don't see in a year that they're going to be able to like follow through on what they want to give you. My problem with this person is I think that they're going to be in and out because they do feel connection. You're not crazy. The most important part of this message is you're not crazy. That connection is there. Yep. Yeah. He's going to make some attempts. I don't know that he has what he needs to follow through right now. Yeah. That's beautiful. Don't be in waiting energy. Don't be in waiting energy. Just ask universe to bring you the love that you deserve and not a specific person. Yeah. No. I mean, the first thing that popped up is I know it's you and I want to spend my life. And this is the connection card. So, like, you're not crazy. It's there. It's just he doesn't... But here's the thing, my love. You are an like vivacious, incredible person, right? We've had a few sessions together. I had you on camera. I had fully had the Duray experience. If he tried to come to you now, it would be temporary because he doesn't have enough sense of trust within himself to not listen to other people and to not be pulled in different directions. He would feel less worthy of you. He would feel not confident to stand next to you. Because look at you. You're doing all the things. You're doing school. You're doing, right? So like, when we are people who don't need to have a warm body, when we are the person that if we are with you, it's because we want you, not because we need you. That needs a whole ass person to come to the table. And even if you have patience for them to grow themselves, right? Because what we just want to be is supported while we grow ourselves and have somebody not be in the way. You did your first tattoo too? That's fantastic. Share it in the Discord, babe. Because you're a member. Everybody that's a member should have access to the Discord. And if you're a new member, I just put the Google form, which has the Discord link, up in the membership thing. You won't see it unless you're a member. But yeah, so somebody who isn't confident enough in themselves. Like, again, you can stand by and but it won't matter, because if they feel like, I once dated somebody who was very accomplished. Everybody loved them. Funny motherfucker, right? Because I'm kind of funny. And maybe hasn't made some great choices in old relationships because of whatever. And we were friends for a long time. When we got together, every time he introduced me to a friend, they were like, wow, she's great, or wow, she's funny, or wow, like, and he kept saying, what are you saying that for? Like, I can get a girl. Like, what do you say? Like, why do you say it like that? It did not take long. And that person has knocked on the door a couple of times. And I have always like tested out in conversation, like if that part has changed about them, if they've grown themselves separate of how they feel about who they're in a relationship with. And I don't see any evidence of that. So like, and I'm just not, that's one of those cases where it's like, when we first broke up, I would have given my eye teeth to get back together. And now it's like, we're better off friends. It doesn't even matter. You could be like, oh, they make their own money. It's about how they feel inside. Okay, let's get to Michael's. Oh, I'm so glad you joined, Little John. You'll love it. You will love it. We meet Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays is the evening one. And Saturdays is the afternoon, because we have quite a few people that are overseas. Let me get back up Michael's. And Michael's is going to be the last one I'm going to take, because I got to go. I'm waiting to hear from my insider at the, oh, I'm trying to move to, okay. I hope that's kids playing. They're screaming outside my window. Not like in my house, but on the street. That's unusual also. Today is crazy. Waiting here to I don't think you should let it go and move on. I think that it's Mercury retrograde. I think they could have made a decision and made a different. Mercury just moved into, when Venus is in retrograde and Mercury's, it's time to review and they might have chosen someone else and now they're reviewing, or something else happened. They might have offered it to somebody else and then that person had something else to do. Whatever happens, actually, Michael, it works in your advantage. And Michael is a member and I know his chart well, because when you're a member, I'm seeing your chart all the time. So a lot of times with the members, I can picture at least your main, your luminaries and your rising and your house system in my head without having up in front of me, because we're not doing astrology today. However, he is a member, and I'm going to say that with your chart, your Scorpio rising, and that sun is in the I hope you don't hear from them, hear me out, until around the beginning of the second week of April, so that when you start, you can start after the 12th or the 13th. We don't really want to start something in a Venus retrograde. We can, but it'll end up being a bridge to something else, right? Everything's for a reason. But with Mercury in retrograde and Venus in retrograde, my love, I don't think you will hear from her this week. Let it go. I will now pull a card, but I'm going to tell you, like, instantly, I can see your chart in my head, and just what I know of, like, it's probably good you're not hearing from them. Things are being reviewed. Your Aries and patience, dude, my Aries moon, never not talking to my Cancer Mars. I get it. I too belong to that group. I've actually been deconstructing, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, if you give me this situation, I'm so patient. And I'm like, yeah, I'm patient in that situation, but what are my trauma responses later when I have to be patient, that I've acclimated to so subtly and I don't think of as trauma responses, right? So I'm doing this whole, while Venus was in retrograde in Aries on my moon, the first thing I thought about is like, am I really patient in some of these situations that I think that I've got like mountains of patience for? Right? Or am I just delaying what that makes me feel like into something else, and I'm not acknowledging, and I have to work on a real sense of patience for other things. I need to go to like a monastery for 2 weeks where I'd be embarrassed if I like cut out early. You know what I mean? Like, where I would feel almost forced. It sounds, listen, I have flaws. I try not to make denial one of them. Oh, Nikki. Okay. The metaphysical is on, you can get to both astrological and metaphysical on my website. When you're doing the astrological, it's going to take you, because I do all of my astrological bookings. I'm very fortunate and happy to be collaborating with Lori Rivers. And also, like, just, we talk all the time too, just having conversation, I learned, besides everything else from her. She's truly one of the greats. I'm beyond fortunate. She could have asked anybody. But yeah, and there's 30 minutes readings there, or if you want to book a metaphysical, if you don't want astrology and you just want whatever. Okay. Let's from Michael. Will Michael eventually hear from his connection at the .org? Will he eventually hear from her after April? Okay. Will it be, thank you. You can stop. Thank you. Will it be after April 7th? Will it be after April 7th? Will it be after April 12th? Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what you want. I know it's frustrating. I don't think you're the only one with the connection. And what I am feeling is that somebody else also was like, hey, I got a guy too. And so, but I just think there's still, stuff going on there. That I don't think decisions have been made. And I think even the original decisions have been made are being reviewed and rethought. But you'll hear from them after the 12th, which is good, because that would allow you to start after Venus goes direct. And if you want that to be long lasting, then you would get it long lasting, and it'll be really conjunct Saturn. It'll be conjunct Saturn and direct. It'll be conjunct Saturn and direct and trining, both Venus direct and Saturn direct, trining Mars direct in Cancer. You feel me? You're welcome. I got you. Like, I know. All right, kids. I love you. Now you love you. This was wonderful. Went way longer than I thought, but I do not feel drained. The energy is amazing today. We will always be here Sundays around 2. I'm either going to do, sometimes it'll be 1 o'clock. It depends, because some Sundays I'm book solid, and I can't do 3 appointments and also do this, do a long live. So I do the best that I can. I can't always have, because of health reasons and energy reasons, which I'm working on both. Like, you know, sometimes I will have to move things or cancel, but Sundays are time for a live for the community, for the whole community. And if you're in membership, expect to see Wednesdays and Saturdays, unless I'm doing like some kind of workshop, or like, you know, like I do the Master Series workshops sometimes for established astrologers, and those are like all day on a Saturday. But those are only like once every couple of months. Okay. I love you. Now you love you. Leave me a comment if you watch this in the replay. Thank you so much. It's nice to see you. Welcome back, Little John. Okay. And Gemini, look for an email from me, or make sure you email me so that I have your email address. Shauna, I will email you the meanings of those cards. And for anybody that just joined membership in the last couple of days, give me a minute and I will get make sure you go sign up on the form. You'll have access to the members only page now, and the last post is actually the membership form. And then that gives you the Discord link, because then you guys can all hang out without me in the Discord. I pop in there very seldomly. The whole point was to make that so you guys can hang, like, you don't need me to facilitate the space where you're all meeting, because everybody in this group all kind of like separately now loves each other, which is so awesome. So, and there's even like, you can play games and stuff in there. I have it set up so you can, if you're like bored, you can go in there and play a game. Okay. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. And if you ever need to contact me, just go to susieevolutionary.com and hit the contact. And I will see you all soon. All right. Bye.